Welcome to Greater Good Radio Hawaii, where leaders inspire leaders. Today's guest is Kevin Sypniewski, President and CEO of AssistGuide, which is a pioneer in long-term care services and financing. Kevin's also on the board of directors for Hawaii Long-Term Care Association, Catholic Charities, and the Entrepreneur Foundation of Hawaii. Please welcome to Greater Good Radio, Kevin Sypniewski.
Thank you very much, Evan.
Well, thanks
Happy to be here.
Well, great. Can you tell us a little bit more about AssistGuide, how it got started, what it's all about? What do you guys actually do?
Well, what AssistGuide really got started to do was to bring the information relative to long-term care and disability online so that people could access that information as these sorts of crises hit families and they have to deal with this. None of us learn about long-term care issues or a disability ahead of time. This is something that usually hits a family, no one's done any work ahead of time, and all of a sudden we have to figure out what we need to do, where we need to go, and how do we contact the professionals and the people that are experts in this field to solve our problems, usually in a very short time.
Almost like a crisis situation when it comes up, typically.
Right. I mean, it's something most of us would prefer to avoid thinking about, much less do preparation for.
So for the layman, someone who has no clue, what is long-term care?
Well, long-term care is really assistance that you need when you need extra help doing things that you would take for granted, like bathing, dressing, getting around. It can even go so far as to say when you're helping mom with paying bills or doing shopping. I mean, those are considered, the outer boundaries of it. But really, if you think about it, if you can't bathe and dress yourselves, pay bills, do shopping, prepare food, you can't remain independent. And someone has to be helping you, if not every day, at least every week. And those are some issues that a lot of people in society have experienced. And as society changes with more and more people working, the family not living right next to us, it's a real crisis situation.
So what kind of growth factors are in this type of market?
Well, I mean, the big growth factor that I think everyone can point to is the baby boomers. You know, there's going to be 76, 78 million people that are going to be going through this at some point in their life. Right now, most of us baby boomers are getting a glimpse of what this is like by going through it with our parents. I've had it a lot of times in my family. I had it actually with my brother who was disabled from birth. But that is, so it can happen at any age, but primarily this is an issue in abundance as we live long and prosper.
So how does AssistGuide actually solve these issues then?
Well, what we've really done is we recognize that the experts that can help you solve these situations are out there. What we recognized as soon as we saw the internet happening was, hey, here's the solution to be able to put information at people's fingertips on the web relative to these issues. And it really started from that mentality. When we saw what was going on with the internet, it was almost like a light went off, recognizing if you talk to most people in the long-term care and disability industry, what they'll tell you is that, the number one problem is information. Yes, there's a lack of financing for this issue in America. But the first problem is information, because if we're not aware of it, we don't have the information, we can never even begin to think about financing. So there's a lot of issues that have to be handled, but it's really awareness, understanding, and access to information and solutions and decision tools and things like that once we do encounter it or see it on the horizon.
So what is it that makes AssistGuide different than, let's say, another website that has information on long-term care?
Well, what we started doing was we recognized that, back in the early days of the internet, I mean, we started this, in some form or fashion, toying with the idea back in, 96, 97, 98. And we recognized that at that time, what was coming up on the internet relative to any information was the high dollar stuff. People were spending 10 to hundreds of thousands of dollars on websites and web tools and things like that. And quite frankly, in the long-term care industry, no one's going to pay that kind of money. By and large, I mean, there's a few, some of the more profit more profitable sectors of it. But by and large, your average nursing home, your home health care agency, or even in Hawaii, we have small family-operated care homes. Those people aren't going to pay tens of thousands of dollars for a website, but a website for them is as important or more important than other businesses, because you have to be able to reach to look at those facilities. You know, you're working full-time during the day. If you have to help mom and she lives in California, you know, how are you going to help her find services, find products, find homes or other things that she might need to get through this event?